Hi everyone, I want to tell you something before we proceed on today's video. If you're in your 20s, you are in your late teens, or maybe you are in your late 20s, your mid 20s, you're just starting your 20s, this video is for you. Make sure you watch to the end. Things you need to do in your 20s. It is not optional, it is a must if you want to have a successful 30s, 50s, and downward, right? Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, do well to subscribe, and if you're an old member, you all are welcome to our channel, right? I am Obans, the CEO of the very best writing and personal development academy of our time, known as Vita W. So today I want to teach us one of the things that really stood out for me, that made me singled me out right from my late teens down to this day. I am so grateful that I started, and I really want to share this with you so that you will also make your 20s productive in order to have a peaceful and a successful 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and downwards, right? So let's start. The first thing you must do in your 20s in order to scale through in your 30s, in your 40s, and the rest is to understand who you are. Who you are is not your profession, is not your career, because when all those things are taken away from you, does that mean you no longer have an identity? It's not even your name. I'm going to make a video on who you are, but you really need to know who you are. So watch out for the video, it's coming soon. So right now, if you know who you are, the next thing you should do is to accept who you are, because it's one thing to understand who you are, and it's another thing to really accept it. If you do not accept who you are, no one else will do that for you. I usually tell my students in our academy, where we train people to write professionally and earn professionally, I always tell them, if you be your own muse, it's as good as me telling you to accept who you are. This is my level, this is who I am, this is what I can do. So it doesn't matter what others are doing, it doesn't matter what is trending, it doesn't matter what others are building on. This is who I am, and I'm going to work myself out until I get the best version of myself. You are really going to do well in the rest of your lives. The next point is build a strong circle. I leverage so much on friendship. I love my friends. And David in the Bible, if you're a Christian, you should know who David is, right? If you are not, sorry about that. David in the Bible is a model to me, because he modeled what true friendship entails. He modeled what it truly means to have David and Jonathan per se. They modeled what true friendship entails and what friends actually meant to do in our lives, right? I truly learned from them, because it's not a verse, it's not an episode of the Bible I just read in a jiffy, or I read once. I read it severally. I needed to understand the attributes. God's willing, I'm going to make a video on how to build solid friendship, genuine friendship actually. So build a strong circle. You always need that strong circle to run to when things go haywire, because life will always happen. Even Jesus, there was a time he needed his circle. That's Peter, James, and John, right? So you too, you will need those people. You will need their encouragement. You will need them to cover for you. You will need to hold their hands and move on in the journey of life. So build a strong circle, and this must not be outside your family, or it must not be strangers. It must not be in your family. Don't limit it to your family, or maybe to strangers, people you meet outside. Just be open-minded and know when you meet the right people you need in your circle. Let them in, and you guys will build together, right? It's a very, very important thing to do in your 20s, because it's going to really help you pave more ways for you during your 30s and downwards. The next point is learn a skill, and as well master the skill. This is an era where people get a degree and they go to school, they come out, they don't have something doing, and they believe it goes on and on. I'll keep on submitting a CV until I get something, until I get a white collar job. Well, that's not a bad idea per se, but you should have a skill. If you're still a student here, please do well to get a skill while you're schooling. YouTube is your friend. You don't even need to go and pay fortune, right? The next point is have a relationship with God. I am a Christian. That's obvious, right? So if you're not a Christian, whatever divinity you believe in, intentionally have a relationship with God. Like, there is no other God is God. Jesus Christ is our Lord. So you need to have a relationship with God, more than the God your parents told you about, more than the God your friends told you about, more than the God your pastor told you about. Try to know him for yourself. It will do you more good, and it will help you scale through in life, because there are times no one will be there. You needed someone who is going nowhere, no matter the level of the storm, no matter the height of the storm. And there is only one person who doesn't need to enter a vehicle to locate you, who doesn't need to recharge their phone before they would see you or maybe be there for you, and that person is God. So do well to have a relationship with God, because if you do not have airtime to call your friends, to seek an advice, to seek help and all that, only God can come through for you. He probably would be using human, but it is still God in the end, right? So the next point is, do not be afraid to make mistakes. This is what so many young people battle with. They felt like when they make one mistake, when they miss out in something, they couldn't achieve a certain goal, or maybe they are struggling with a certain goal, they begin to feel as though their world have crashed. Most of them, they pack up, especially in the course of fulfilling their purpose, enhancing their skill, or maybe doing well to build a certain brand or business. Once money is lost, or maybe some things went south, they pack up everything and just go and say that no, don't be afraid to make mistakes. When you make a mistake, you just learn the way that would not work, and you face and look forward to the ways that would work. So if you make mistake, dust up yourself, cry if you feel like, and still go on with your life. So the next point is, strive to gain financial mastery. One thing I did for myself, especially during my late teens down to my 20s, of course I'm still in my 20s, early 20s of course, I told myself that I am not going to be dependent on anyone. This is not me trying to be a feminist, maybe whatever people call it. I love my independence, in as much as I have a lovely family, lovely friends and mentors, but role models per se. I still desire to have my own money, to have my own business, and those were the things I planned ahead, and I've achieved it, and I'm in the course of achieving more on that field. So strive to gain financial freedom. Master how to handle the finance when you finally start handling a finance that belongs to you and not the family in general. So the next point is, get a degree if it's convenient for you. Don't just join the status quo that believes that school is not necessary. Let me tell you, Mark Zuckerberg went back to school. Bill Gates, he got his knowledge further. He went further actually. And every other person you think that made it, they might not tell you actually, but they got to a certain level. They saw the need to get a degree. And one thing about schooling is that as you go higher, it becomes a problem to catch up with some certain things. So preferably, as you are young, your brain is young, you have your mates there, it's almost fun for you, intentionally decide to have a degree. So the next point is, plan to read at least 12 books a year. Do not play with reading books. You know, I told people that my life changed when I read a book titled Awaken the Giant Within by Anthony Robinson. Then it was Anthony Robinson, then when he changed it back to Tony Robinson. It's a book that gave me a comprehensive guide on how to set goals, on how to gain mental health mastery, on how to take care of myself. It was not basically a book for those in their 20s, but it's a privilege for me, because I know so many people must have read it in their 30s, in their 50s, and we are still enjoying the same knowledge. But imagine if you find that kind of book, maybe in your early 20s, you're just delving into your 20s. It's a blessing, because you are going to do way more than I have done and so many others have done. So leverage on books. Plan to read at least 12 books in a year. That's every month you read one book. That means in a day you plan to read at least 10 pages of a book in a day. You marvel at the level of growth you experience in your life. And if you have the opportunity to read more than 12, please do. I have the target of reading 56 books, right? It sounds impossible, but it is possible. I've done it before and it's very much fun. I could say that was a situation, a stage of my life that took another turn. So many things happened actually, but this reading of book contributed to it. So leverage on reading books. So the next point is have a mentor. You should have a mentor, a role model, and a coach. Someone you always look up to, someone you can always talk to. Mentors, precisely, because there are times you would feel so insecure about everyone around you, and maybe you have a mentor who fears God, precisely, is going to give you the security, the home. It gives you this peace that you are somewhere safe and you can actually say what is bothering you without being judged if you make mistake, in quotes. So do well to get yourself a mentor. I probably would make a video on that too if you want me. Do well to tell me in the comment section. So the next point is quit playing games and be faithful in relationship with people. If you're running a brand, you're running a business, you're running anything at all that involve human, maybe relationship that should lead to marriage, relationship with your customers, relationship with strangers you do not even know. Quit playing games, right? You won't remain in your 20s forever, and 20s is more like a stage of building. Whatever you build, whatever you plant in your 20s is more like your morning. Whatever you plant in your 20s and of course your 30s, you're going to reap it for the rest of your life. So intentionally plan not to dupe people, not to mislead people just because you want to catch cruise, in quotes, or maybe feel like you belong and live your life recklessly and maybe break people's heart, take things that belong to them without giving account for it. You pay dearly for it, maybe not from the same source, but it would come back to you. So intentionally hold integrity to high esteem. That is the summary. So the next point is leverage on integrity. I've already mentioned that, right? Let your yes be your yes. Let your no be your no. If you're saying this is white, let it be white. If you're saying this is black, let it be black. Don't pretend to please someone and displease others. Stand your ground and make your point right and straight. You owe nobody any apology for being right, right? So the next one is learn to say no. This is what so many people find very difficult to do. Remember, we are talking about how to make the best out of your 20s and of course live a peaceful and a successful life in the rest of the years. So all these things do not take a day to happen. It takes time, years and all that. So you have to intentionally learn to say no and not feel bad about it. If you know you cannot do something, if you know it is not convenient for you, and you know you cannot really sacrifice a certain thing in order to do a certain thing, or maybe to please a certain people, please do well to tell them no. Instead of telling them yes and disappointing them, that one is a problem on its own. So in order not to disappoint people, not to make them feel bad, not to build enemies you probably would be facing in the rest of your life, start preventing it now by saying no when necessary and saying yes when necessary. So the next point is try new things. Don't be so scared to try new things. Don't be so scared to go into a business that interests you. Don't be so scared to maybe to go and swim. Try new things. You are in your 20s. Live your life. Just make sure you are doing the positive things. Don't do things that will bring harm to you, things that will deteriorate your health and all that. So the last but not the least is your health. Take care of you. See, no matter the kind of job you are doing, no matter the kind of wealth you want to build, no matter the kind of brand you want to build, take care of yourself. Eat well, sleep well, and of course, take care of your skin, your outlooks. you are definitely going to feel sorry for not doing that in the later days. So in order not to feel that way, because I have been with people maybe in their late 20s, in their early 30s, in their late 30s, they have a lot of things to regret. They wish they did this, they wish they do not do this, wish they do not do that. Because you would be saying, I'm in my early 20s, how do I know is the most things to do? I have been around people. As a matter of fact, most of my friends are in their late 20s and early 30s and late 30s. So I converse with these people. I've learned a lot from them. It's mutual, actually, it's a mutual friendship, actually, relationship per se. So you have to intentionally take care of your health. Work out, do exercise at least once in a week. You could do 3 times in a week, you could do once in a week. Anyone that is convenient for you, try to do it. And it mustn't be you skipping rope, doing that. Just take a walk to the bus stop. Don't try to get a bike or maybe a cab. Try to take care of your health. Eat healthy, eat fruit, drink much water, take care of your skin. Don't feed on junks, because that's why you see so many people, diabetic people, obese people. So cut down on your intake of sugar and take care of yourself. So I have come to the end of this video. We have come to the end of this video because we started it together, right? So I hope you got value, and I know that you got enough value. Thank you so much for watching, and see you on the next video. Do well to subscribe. Thank you.